Hello, my friends. Happy Wednesday. It's Jill here, and welcome to our weekly Q&A session in our Empowered Fitness community for women 40 plus. I'm so happy to have you. I love going over all of your questions pertaining to fitness, nutrition, transformation, and all this great stuff that we get to go over. If you've never been here before, I'm here every Wednesday, and all of our past sessions are all organized into the guide section of our group here. So if you ever want to go back and find some amazing nuggets of information and questions that you probably have answered, just go into the guide section of this group and you'll be able to find all of my past Q&As. But tune in today because we have so many amazing questions that a lot of you ladies have asked, especially when you join the group. I have an entire spreadsheet of all of you and what you said when you came into the group, your struggles, your goals, and any questions. And if you have a question about fitness or nutrition that you want to ask, feel free to drop it in the comments below and I will absolutely answer it on the call today. So we've got 30 minutes here and I'm just going to jump right in. But before I do want to bring to your attention that we have just a couple days left of our November flash sale. So this is our Black Friday sale. Come early, and it's going through this Friday. It's for my Menopausal Metabolism Reboot. You guys, you voted on what you wanted to be on sale, mega sale. And so I've listened to your votes, and the Menopausal Metabolism Reboot is now 70% off. I've never given it away that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm giving it away for this low of a price. And not only that, but I'm going to take you through it personally. So we are going to start together as a group. Whoever wants to join, the Monday after Thanksgiving, because the first 5 days of the reboot is actually a 5-day kickstart cleanse. And that is going to get you losing any extra pounds that you put on during Thanksgiving or have been putting on over the years. It's going to take at least 5 off. And then we're going to get into our 30-day reboot, which is going to actually take us to December 31st, the end of the year. And you don't have to be perfect on this. You don't have to skip any of the fun stuff for the holidays or for New Year's Eve. You can still do that, but you're going to show up to New Year's Eve feeling better than you ever have, especially if you've been dealing with symptoms of menopause, mood swings, weight gain, belly fat, trouble sleeping, night sweats, hot flashes, all these things. You're absolutely going to see a difference and gain some energy during the next 6 weeks or so together. So what you want to do is you want to grab that menopausal reboot. I'll pop the link to it in the comments here. And instead of getting it for $127, which it is normally, you are going to get it for only $37. There's so many amazing bonuses, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. What you're going to get in there is not only my one workshop on the reboot and understanding what's happening during menopause and all of the stages from pre-menopause, post-menopause. That's a 90-minute presentation. You're also going to get 2 more presentations from a couple of my colleagues who have specialized in the gut-brain axis and soothing anxiety through your nutrition, and also hormones, a hormone specialist. You're going to get your 5-day kickstart plus your 30-day nutrition protocol. And I've also added in, if you click the link that I added to the comments for the reboot, I've added in an option to add on my 4-week Fit and Fast weightlifting program for 50% off. So it's only $50 to add that on as your fitness through the end of the year. And it's only 20 minutes a day. So I know you can do that. I did add a post in here as well. If you scroll down, I kind of made it just come up to the top. And I added a few of the slides from the Menopausal Reboot presentation so you can kind of see what we go over. I added in a slide on why we're gaining weight during perimenopause. It talks about estrogen fluctuations, insulin sensitivity, hormonal imbalance, and it talks about the strategy, the new strategy required to avoid all of your nasty symptoms. I also go over the 6 stages of menopausal metabolism reboot, including resting the nervous system, restoring hormones, replacing digestion, replenishing nutrients, rebuilding mitochondria, and rebooting the metabolism. If you skip any of these steps along the way, you don't get results. And so that's what's really important, because a lot of women are trying to pick and choose the stages that they participate in, but without taking them one at a time, they never work. For instance, if you're trying to fix your hormones, you're changing hormones with hormone replacement therapy, then if you have not done step 1, which is rest the nervous system, then none of that HRT is going to actually help you. So these are the kind of things that you're going to learn in the reboot, which is, again, only $37 if you grab it by Friday. You'll also see in there it talks about the 5 plus 30-day reboot, meaning the 5-day kickstart cleanse, which is going to be perfect right after Thanksgiving, that Monday, and then the 30-day simple reboot for fitness, nutrition, and self-care that is going to take you to December 31st. So amazing, and you'll have the group for support. So definitely hop on that deal. I'll be emailing about it and posting about it for the rest of the week as well. So let's get into our questions today and what's going on with everybody. I like to go over what is holding back our crew here from getting results in your fitness and your nutrition, your transformation, because it gives us a really clear window as to what's going on, right? So let's take a quick look there. We'll start with Stacy. And hi, Carolyn. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Cheryl. So we're going to go through and we're going to talk about what's holding everybody back in our group here. If you want to add what you think is holding you back from getting the results you want, then drop that below. Stacy says, not knowing where to start, what to do, and what will actually give me results without killing myself. Well, we don't want that, Stacy, but knowing what to do and where to start, I think that if you have not taken any action, there's a couple ways to start. Number 1 is to schedule a call with me, and I can drop that in the comments as well, the link to book a call with me. I've got some time this week and next, and I would love to have a call, and that's a really cool opportunity because it's your opportunity to get one-on-one time with me where we can actually discuss the ins and outs of what's going on with you personally, and make a game plan call for you. So I just added my calendar here, the webpage that you can go to book a game plan call. It's totally free. So that's time with me for free to figure out what your best step is and what you need personally. Another great place to start is the Menopausal Reboot if that's something that you're needing, or going to my website, maybe browse around and see if there's something that could help you. But it's definitely taking action is the first thing to do. And I will help you figure out exactly what you need to succeed. All right. Deborah says, I give up quickly. Candy says, I struggle with nutrition. Carol and Tabitha both say that they are themselves what is holding them back. Nancy Jean says willpower, which is one thing that I always feel should not hold you back, because willpower should not be required to get to your goals, right? If you're using willpower, then you're probably trying to restrict yourself too much in nutrition and overdo it in your fitness. It really shouldn't be that hard to do this. So if we do it right, then you'll find that you don't even need willpower to succeed. Let's see. Kelly Wood also says knowing what to do is holding her back. So that would mean let's have a chat and figure out, and tell you exactly what you need to do. Sean says staying consistent is holding her back. So what would be interesting is figuring out what is causing you to not be consistent, Sean. Is that a matter of having the wrong plan that's not sustainable for your lifestyle, or something that you just don't enjoy? Because who's going to keep doing something that they don't want to do? And so I think if we can make it a really fun and exciting journey for you, something that's maybe switches it up a lot and is enjoyable, then I think it'll be much easier for you to stay consistent. Rachel says nutrition and confusion on what direction to go now that she's 50. Old things aren't working anymore. And yes, that's exactly what happens. When we get 40 and over, then everything that worked in our 20s and 30s doesn't work anymore. And you have to start understanding the mechanics of what's going on and what is going to actually work for you now in this time. And maybe it is finding a new trainer, a new plan, a new approach to nutrition. And that's what I do, is I focus on women 40 plus and know exactly what you need. Shelly says her lack of motivation when she doesn't see changes while using exercise programs. And part of that is that if you're doing an exercise program alone, Shelly, and you're not focusing on the nutrition too, it's possible you're getting exactly the changes that you would expect from the exercise you're doing, but your nutrition might be hiding those results. So if we can dial both in and make sure that they match, then you'll probably see those great results. Another problem that I do see with women is that they're trying to cut their calories back because they think it's going to make them thinner. But if they're trying to gain muscle, it's very hard to gain muscle on a very low calorie diet. So many of you may need a lot more calories than you're actually taking in and you think you need. Keisha says she needs to walk more. That's great. So let's get on it and figure out what's your plan and what's your accountability mechanism to keep you on that, Keisha. Lisa says no motivation. Melissa says nutrition's holding her back. Anita says money is holding her back. Well, maybe now's a great time for you to take advantage of that November flash sale, Anita. Nilsa says time and menopause. So we've got something for you, Nilsa. Get on that menopausal metabolism reboot too. Suzanne says time. Janet says laziness. That I can't help. You've got to want it. I can't help people who don't want to actually put in the work. So we'll have to figure out if that's actually laziness or just needing a plan of action and somebody kicking your butt behind you, Janet, to say, hey, let's go. I'm reminding you of your goals and kind of bringing that to the forefront. Vicky says nutrition is holding her back. Deborah says working long hours. Noah and, it's not Noah, it's probably Ashley. They have a joint account. Ashley says she's too busy from sleepless nights and being tired postpartum. I remember those days, Ashley. I know it is hard. And Vanessa says not exercising enough. Sandy says her age. Rebecca says exercise. Joe says time and self-discipline. Okay, so we've got a lot of great things. It's so great that you all are actually pinpointing what is holding you back, because once you pinpoint it, you know what to focus on. And you might just need a kick in the butt and a little bit of support and then a surefire plan, right? So for those of you who said nutrition is holding you back, you need a plan. Here's the thing, I use this analogy a lot. If you want to take your kids or grandkids to the zoo, but you don't know how to get there and you've never been there, and you just hop in the car and say, okay, let's go, and you don't have any directions and you don't have, the way to get there or a GPS, then are you going to get there? Most likely not. You're going to drive around for hours. You're going to be super frustrated, totally clueless, and then you're going to have to make your way home and just be defeated that you didn't get to take the kids to the zoo, right? But if you have clear instructions and know exactly how to get there and can follow those step-by-step directions, then all of a sudden it's so much easier and you get to enjoy all that time with your grandkids. So it's the same thing with nutrition. If you don't have a framework, if you don't have guidelines, if you don't have some kind of rules, you could take a wrong turn, but you still know how to get back to where you're going and make those corrections. So it's super important until you're to your goals and know how to maintain them, that you have some sort of framework and rules for how your nutrition is going to work. It's best if it's something that's meant for you, that will work with your lifestyle and will absolutely get you results like it has for other people. So that's why I teach 5 different nutrition frameworks, because I know that everybody's different, everybody's personalities are different things will work for different people, and some people don't like to stay with the same thing forever. I don't. I like to change things up. So it's really helpful if you get sick and tired of one thing or it's not working for you anymore, that you can move on to another one. All right? Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions. We are about halfway done with this live. So Stacy says, the question was, if you could have a free call with me and discuss your fitness and nutrition goals, what would be one big burning question? You can still have that call with me. Just click the link that I put in the comments there for the game plan call and set up your time, and we'll go over your particular questions. But Stacy asks where and how to find the right things to give me actual results. So I think what it comes to, and she said that her goals are to eat healthier, have more energy, build some muscle, lose a little weight, get in the right mindset, and be comfortable in her own body. I love all that stuff. That is like me in a nutshell and what I stand for and what I help my clients with. And so number one, Stacy, you made it to the right place. This is it. You're here. You got to just book a call and let's get your show on the road. But I think what's important, if I'm not the person that you work with, what you want to be looking for, and you'll see a lot of people at this time of year advertising their services, getting in front of your face, is you want somebody who you feel that rapport with, that trust with, who's working with people like you and getting other people results who are like you, somebody who you relate to, who you feel is listening to you and can give you insight and a plan that you believe will work for you. Not everything is going to work for everybody, so the best thing you can do is give it a go, give it a try, and make sure that you're signing up with somebody who will be there for you personally and not just get you into a program and then be like, all right, you're in, good luck. Because sometimes things change and we need to personalize. And so that's why with my Empowered Fitness Mastery coaching program, it's very personal. I know each of my clients and I do all of the scheduling and teaching personally to make sure that everybody is doing the things that are going to get them to their results the quickest and with the most enjoyability, okay? Because that's really important too. We don't want a plan that's just going to get us to the results. We want something that we're going to enjoy, that will be sustainable, and that will actually enjoy the journey. Because if you're not enjoying the journey, getting to the result is never going to actually be satisfying to you, okay? Let's see. Candy says, is it possible to lose weight during menopause? Absolutely. There's no reason why you can't lose weight. You just have to be doing the right things. And unfortunately, many women going through perimenopause and menopause do not know the right things. So they're doing all the wrong things, which means that they're probably gaining weight instead of losing the weight that they want to lose. But there's no reason why you can't lose weight during menopause. You just have to be doing all the right steps. And I believe you have to be doing them in the right order. And sometimes it's harder to change what you've always done than to do more of the same stuff. And but it is possible. You can absolutely do that. Candy's goal is to lose 10 to 15 pounds and continue her journey of being healthy and fit in her 50s. And you can absolutely do that. And it's very important that you're working on it too, because it's a long road when you're not feeling healthy going into your 50s, 60s, 70s, and your body starts to change and break down a little bit. You start losing muscle mass, bone mass, and your agility, flexibility. If you're not working on these things and working on strength building, then you're going to be losing it. And that's when you start to see people end up with injury and just in discomfort, okay? Carol wants to know, and so does Tabitha. These ladies keep saying that. These are the two that both said they're holding themselves back. And they both also said that they're struggling with motivation. And so motivation comes from a few things. Number one, it's figuring out what is your motivation? Why do you want to change? Or why, what pain do you want to avoid, or what pleasure do you want to experience? That is going to be your motivation. And perhaps, I see Jess came on, perhaps it's to feel the best in your skin. Perhaps it's to encourage or set the example for your children, to be your happiest self and to feel good in your own skin so that you can have great relationships with your partner, right? And so it's important that we, number one, identify why this is important, because that is going to ultimately be the deciding factor as to all these decisions that come along as to, is it important to make a better decision or not, and why? Why is it so important to you? Another thing that's going to help you with your motivation is making a plan of action and then taking action, because it's not as motivating if you're sitting there not doing anything and not getting anywhere as it is if you're taking the right actions and making progress. And so these things have to be put in place. I always feel that having a community and a coach and people around you who want the same thing as you, that is something that's very motivating. And so they say that you are like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if I'm somebody that you spend a lot of time with, for instance, my clients are showing up every day and they're doing my workouts, they're watching my trainings, they're checking in with me a couple times a day maybe, or a few times a week, then they're getting that influence, right? And you're influenced by the people you spend the most time with. And so if you spend a lot of time with people who are like you and want the same things as you, then you're definitely going to start moving towards that naturally. So those are some things that can help you with motivation. You can also show up every Monday for my Motivation Monday videos, which I started doing because I kept hearing this, this motivation problem. And so every week I come in here live on Monday with a different viewpoint on motivation. And you can go and look in the guides as well. The same thing as the Wednesday Q&As. I have all of the Motivation Mondays organized into a guide as well that you can go back and you can listen to those in the car or at night or in the morning as your morning motivation, and gather just a lot of strength and momentum from those alone. Let's see. How do I maintain, says Kelly? You stay in it, right? So you never end the journey. That's what I've done over the last 9 years, is every time. So my fitness programs are all 3 to 4 weeks long in stages. And so I always have my clients ready to go in the next stage. So for example, I'm taking a group of 5 right now through my Fit and Fast program. It was 4 weeks and they're on week 4 right now. So it's day 3 of week 4 and they're still killing it. But I'm having those conversations with them right now as to what they're doing next. And so OC decided that she is continuing on with my 3-month program. She signed up last night and we're having our kickoff call for that on Saturday. And then on Monday, she's starting the next part of her journey. And we were talking about that last night. Is she going to do a 5-day cleanse and have a recovery week? Or is she feeling like she can continue on with continuing her strength building, in which case we'll start with Build and Burn, which is my next logical step in terms of a fitness program for her. And so she's going to have to think about it a little bit, how her body's feeling, and also she has the week off from school next week. And so these are the things that we determine together, but no matter what, come Monday, she's got a plan in place, some kind of workout, some kind of nutrition plan, so that she can continue to see the great results that she's seen in the last 3.5 weeks with Fit and Fast. So I think part of maintenance is constantly having a plan and never having it end, and just knowing what the next step is as you get to the end of the current step, okay? Same thing, Rachel asked how to lose weight and keep it off. It's having that plan, jumping in, staying in it. And I see Kirsten just hopped on, and maybe she can also say something about the fact that I think not letting anything deter you, no matter what, when life gets busy, when things come up. Some of my clients have gone through illnesses during the program, and they never let it stop them. And I think that's huge, is seeing everything as just a temporary, not even a setback, but as life, just a temporary pause in the plan or a reroute. Angie in my program had a knee injury a couple weeks ago, and this week she's feeling fantastic. We made a change to her program that would suit her knee injury, and she kept working through, and she's been doing these 30-minute ab sessions of mine, my Jill's Best abs, and she's doing fantastic, and she's back in it, and she's feeling so good and has not lost any momentum. So I think when life throws you curveballs, it's so important just to take it and say, okay, what am I going to do with this? How do I keep going, right? Let's see. Next is, what carbs can I eat, from Keisha. So when it comes to carbs, I mean, I think you know pretty well what are the really bad ones and what are the good ones. Generally, processed carbs, anything in a package, anything that has been, tons of ingredients and shelf stabilizers and additives and sugars that have been added, are gonna not be great carbs. So if you think about like candy and donuts and like baked goods that have butter, flour, sugar, right? These are all this fat and sugar, which is just gonna stick to your guts and be hard for your body to process, right? It's also excessive sugar is going to feed the bad bacteria in your body. Carbs that are really great for you are the ones that are single words, right? Rice, potatoes, quinoa, like corn is a carb. It's a starch, like, and that's not the best one because that one doesn't, it just goes right through you. It doesn't even like break down. But if you think about carbs that are just one word, right? Then those things are, they're whole foods. Fruit, right? Those are all, they're carbs. Vegetables are carbs. These things are whole foods. They come from the earth and they're good for you because your body knows how to break them down, okay? So that's what I would say is those, what carbs can I eat? Eat the good ones. And when you eat the good ones, you can eat a bunch of them. And it's good for you because your carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. And if you're not eating enough carbs, then your body is going to look to the carbs in your muscle stores, not your fat stores. It's going to look to the muscle and take the carbs from there, right? The energy from there. And so you want to make sure you are eating plenty of good carbs, and those are going to be your whole food carbs, okay? Let's see. Next question, please. Janet also asked how to get motivated, and so we talked about that. Suzanne wants to know, how do I do it while being a server and always on her feet and around food? Oh, I've worked in restaurants too, Suzanne. Definitely tempting, right? Especially if they give you free food or discounted food. I used to work in a pizza restaurant where it was my favorite pizza, and I was always making things and having pastas and breads, and luckily I didn't have a car at that point, so I was rollerblading to work. But it's definitely going to be a challenge, but what you can do is you can find your favorites, and you can have the chefs maybe make custom meals for you that are full of such great stuff. And if they know how to season things right, they can take the healthiest foods and really make you some amazing meals. And so the big thing is to never look at, like, you have to subtract, but to add more things. So fill up on the really great things, fill up before your shift, and have a nice meal before your shift. Make sure you're getting your proteins, your veggies, your healthy fats, so you feel your blood sugar is even throughout your shift. And then at the end of your shift, relax and take a break and rest and digest. And then if you're hungry, again, look to those healthy foods. If you've eaten enough, if you kind of starve yourself, you're going to probably end up like your brain's going to go haywire and you're going to want the bad stuff. But if you have stayed consistent with your nutrition throughout the day and it's time for a meal at the end of your shift, then you're going to be in a much better headspace to choose a healthier meal. With regards to being on your feet all day, unfortunately, that is not going to count as your exercise for the day. Number one, that's cardio. It's not strength training. So you still want to be adding strength training to your day. And if you're on your feet a ton and you're just walking around, it's going to become the norm for your body. So your body's metabolism is going to adjust to what your normal exercise is during the day. So if it's not a lot, your body's going to slow its metabolism so that your food can, is kind of slow to metabolize. If you're doing a lot on your feet, then your metabolism might speed up. You might be hungrier. But really, we want to have a flexible metabolism that can adjust and be really efficient. And so make sure that you're also adding in that strength training. And just don't starve yourself. Have healthy meals available and ready during your shift if you need to grab a snack. Stay hydrated. Sometimes we confuse hydration and hunger, and don't do anything out of habit or fear of missing out on foods. They're always going to be there. We want to eat for hunger, and we want to eat to fuel. So keep these things in mind, and it'll be much easier. This is your profession. You've got to learn how to do good at it, right? And how to do this and make this part of your life and be successful with it, okay? I have one more question that I'm going to answer. So the last one is from Nilsa, and she had mentioned that she's got some time restraints. She's going through menopause. She wants to lose 20 pounds. I think, Nilsa, that the Menopausal Metabolism Reboot is perfect for you because you can add on the fit and fast workouts only 20 minutes a day, we can absolutely lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months or so, even less possibly. And you ask about fasting and menopause. So that's actually something that is addressed in the menopause metabolism reboot. My friend Kira came in and talked to us about the gut-brain axis. So how food that goes in your stomach or goes in your mouth into your stomach affects your brain, and how your brain affects your nutrition. And one thing that she talked about a lot was within menopause and all the stages, and we talk about this in my workshop too on it, is regulating blood sugar and not having these big spikes of cortisol, right, and insulin. And what that does is when large amounts of cortisol is released, that's where the belly fat comes from. So we want to maintain this even flow of blood sugar. And when we go to sleep at night, we're fasting anyways. I hope you're not eating in the middle of your sleep, but that's, if normal people, 6 to 8 hours maybe, where you're not eating, and already your blood sugar is dropping. And so what Kira talks about is that if you start, if you delay that nutrition, if you delay putting food in your body, even after you wake up from, your cortisol, your insulin has dipped, right? Your blood sugar has gotten really low. If you keep on waiting, it's getting lower and lower and lower. And when you do eat, it's going to spike. And so that's where you're going to get that cortisol. And that's where, if you're constantly doing this up and down and high and low, which can happen with fasting, then you may be setting yourself up for this constant, what they call cortisol belly, and this constant state of stress. And so we try not to do fasting in menopause. And actually, Kira mentioned that she does not recommend fasting for women ever, in terms of a small window of eating. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with intermittent fasting, it just means that you're kind of closing the gap on the hours that you eat, and you have a longer period of where you don't eat. And my issue with that too is that you want to get as many amazing nutrients and fuel your body and give yourself the nutrition that it needs. It's already very hard to do that with the food, the farming, the over-processing that's happened over the last 25, 30, 35 years, probably longer than that. And so it's hard enough for us to get everything we need in terms of nutrients. When you start now restricting how much you're actually eating, because you can only eat so much in a time period, and you can only take so much of certain nutrients and macronutrients in at a time, then you're starting to just restrict your body as to what it can take and process and use for its organs and its daily processes. So the only fasting that I generally recommend is a 12-12 fast. So let's say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., right? Keep it super simple. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It depends on when you start eating in your day. And that really is what I would suggest. So I think that the closer you are to menopause, the more it's going to affect you negatively. So I would advise against it unless you're finding that you're doing it and it's working for you. Because there's always going to be anomalies, and there's always going to be things that work for some people and don't work for others. And so if you found a groove with something and it's working, ride the wave, as long as it's healthy, right? If it's not healthy, then, then that's a different problem. So, all right. Thank you so much for hopping on with me today. If you have more questions, just drop them below. If you want to get involved in something, just let me know. And for those of you who I mentioned today, I'll tag you here so that you have this information. And I will see you back here on Monday for motivation, on Wednesday for Q&A. And don't forget to sign up for the Menopausal Metabolism Reboot while it is 70% off. The link is in the comments below. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.